So let's take a look at the crypto news for today. I'm cryptoFOXXY, and thanks so much for stopping by the channel. We're going to look at Bitcoin today. Bitcoin has erased all of its 2025 gains, losing about $27 billion per day over the last little while. And we're going to take a look at that as well as what could be causing a lot of these large market swings and volatility. Let's jump into it in this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and follow me on X as well if you're watching over there. So here we're just taking a look quickly at this article. Bitcoin erased all its 2025 gains, like I mentioned, dipping below 93K. This is for the first time in nearly 7 months we've seen these levels. We lost 2.3% in the past day and about 13% in just this past week alone. Trading volume for Bitcoin has more than doubled, and it's to the negative, right? People are selling, taking profits, etc. Mitigating some of the risks, that type of thing, and taking some money out of the market. 335 million worth of Bitcoin derivatives contracts have been liquidated in the past day, and this is pushing the total crypto market liquidations to about 725 million over the last 24 hours. That is a ton of value right there, a ton of volume. I mean, right there. It is, it's looking as though we are getting that huge correction that we kind of almost didn't really get during the large run up that we saw for Bitcoin over the last year or so. Now, the break below the 50-week moving average and the weekly close under 100K for the first time since May 4th is contributing. And a lot of people are saying the 4-year cycle is nearing its end and wondering, are we entering a bear market? And that's always, I think that's contributing to a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that we're seeing in the market right now. Usually, we experience a significant price drawdown about 12 to 18 months after each halving. Bitcoin neared the end of that window in October. So many analysts say the 4-year cycle might have ended, though. And, some people are saying, we could be entering a super cycle. There's been talks about that even last cycle, but we don't really know, right? And I think that that's the biggest thing is we're not sure what to expect right now because there was a lot of similarities in this last cycle, but there was a lot of differences as well. Just the way, Bitcoin hit all-time high before the halving instead of after. There was a whole bunch of different, conflicting information there that we saw. So this might be a new normal. We might be figuring it out, so to speak, figuring out where the crypto cycle, the crypto market kind of takes us. Now, 92,000 is a key support level for Bitcoin. The 92K region also coincides with the unfilled CME gap, increasing the odds of short-term technical bounce if it is tested. Now, but we also have rising macro uncertainties and sluggish return of liquidity into the crypto markets. We just haven't been seeing retail come back and the FOMO erupting like we've seen in past cycles. So that's really what's missing from this cycle is that FOMO event. And we're going to actually take a look at something very interesting here. The Cabosi letter is shared on X. I'm going to blow this up so you guys can see this a little bit better. Here we go. All right, so this is very interesting. Now, I just spent a little while reading this and going over it and taking a look at some of their images here. And this does explain a lot of what we're seeing in crypto right now. So what's happening? Over the last 41 days, crypto has erased 1.1 trillion in market cap, or about 27 billion per day. And that is in the last 41 days. Crypto market cap is now 10% below levels seen during the liquidation event that we had on October 10th. But they're calling it a structural move, and this is why. So we can see here, this obviously is their graph, shows that big liquidation move that we saw here. Trump tariffs caused the start of that sell-off. And what they're saying is they believe liquidations were caused by over-leveraged positions. And I think that they're correct here. The decline has been strange. There hasn't been many material bearish developments on the fundamental side of crypto. And it's true. We're seeing a ton of good publicity for crypto lately, and we haven't really been seeing a whole lot of negatives. So why is the price going down? Why is the crypto market bleeding? And it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people that are in the crypto space or people that are new to the crypto space and don't really know how things work. And that's why there's a lot of people right now screaming about price manipulation, right? Market makers, centralized exchanges, kind of controlling liquidations. But Bitcoin is being adopted and being used and being promoted basically by big figures and government, but yet Bitcoin's down 25% in 1 month. It just doesn't make sense. But it all began with institutional outflows mid to late October, and then in the first week of November, we saw 1.2 billion of outflows. And the problem seems to be excessive levels of leverage amid these outflows. So, taking a look at it, it's common for people who are trading to take on positions that are leveraged, 20x, 50x, 100x. I myself have dabbled in that. For very, very short term trades. I don't trade that way aggressively. Um, in a normal trade scenario. Like if I'm swing trading, etc., I'm not using 100x leverage because that's how do you walk away from and not watch a 100x leverage trade, right? If I'm using high leverage, I'm sitting there, I'm scalping, I'm looking at it, I'm watching it, I'm waiting for it to go up, and I'm taking my money out basically right then. But 2 to 5 to 10x leverage is a little bit more reasonable in my opinion. However, not for everybody. So make sure that you guys know what you're doing if you get into any of that. But on October the 10th, the 19.2 billion liquidation spree led to the first ever 20,000 Bitcoin daily candlestick. Excessive levels of leverage have resulted in seemingly hypersensitive market. So, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people trading on different, platforms that are providing these large leverage trades. And I think that that is really spooking the market because soon as we see prices start to go down, then we start seeing people get liquidated, and then people get scared, and more selling commences, and it kind of creates that FUD and that vicious cycle of sell-offs, right? So over the last 16 days alone, we've seen 3 days with liquidations exceeding $1 billion. Daily liquidations of 500 plus million have become normal. So I guess in this situation, this kind of brings us back to the whole point of when you start into crypto, you're kind of more into a spot trading, right? You're picking up the coins for the value that they're showing, say on an exchange, etc., and not using leverage and not getting into that type of trading. But there's so many people out there, and there's so many new platforms out there as well that are offering these large leverage positions, and it's really screwing with the dynamics of the market. So this also explains sudden shifts in sentiment. Crypto fear and greed index officially fallen to 10, which is extreme fear, and now this ties the bottom seen in February 2025, even as Bitcoin is up 25% since the April bottom. Leverage amplifying shifts in investor sentiment. So that is really cool. I mean, this was a really great article. I'm really glad I came across this. It is something that really helped explain what is going on in the overall market. Because I have noticed there's a lot of people out there using leverage positions. People with large money, right? We look at James Wynn, who's been trading. He's been liquidated how many times now? Multiple hundreds of millions of dollars worth of trading just gone because of large swings in the market, and it's scaring a lot of people. So it is what it is. It's the whole. It comes with trading, right? So you win some, you lose some, but however, some of these big losses are very, very substantial. So it's interesting to see where we're going to go here, guys. Are we going to get a little pump again before December? I think if we don't, I think we're going to probably head into more bearish territory, which I think we kind of have been in the last little while. There's still some money to be made in the market, though. Don't be scared of, still looking into swing trading. I made money all through the last bear market. I used my trading indicator, CF Algo. I've used other indicators as well. I've used, just be active out there in communities and looking for new opportunities. And a lot of times in these bear markets, it gives us opportunities to pick up coins at ultra low prices and things like that. But I think we still have enough momentum and interest in crypto to have a run, to have a bullish event take place. We just need the right catalyst and the right sort of technical setup. And technical setup's not really the right word. More of a foundational setup with the traditional finance. We need inflation to come down, interest rates to kind of come down, people to have a little bit more money to spend, and that sort of thing. And Trump did just announce that $2,000 stimulus check. Or it's more of a derivatives tariff bonus or whatever it is you want to call it, coming out in mid 2026, I believe he said. So there's a little hype over that. People are going to be getting a couple of $1,000s each, and putting some extra funds back in people's pockets. So we'll have wait and see if that you know has any kind of an impact on crypto. So That's what I got for you guys in this video. Don't forget my Patreon's active right now. I have started a Patreon. You get access to my portfolio, access to my trading. I'm going to tell you guys when I'm buying and selling. Um, we're also going to talk crypto, have some, members only content, that kind of thing. And we're going to build a portfolio together. $100 a week we're going to put into crypto, which is a very reasonable amount in my opinion. I think, the majority of people, give or take, in a reason with that, a reasonable amount to put into the crypto market, $100 a week. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while with the Patreon. I want to build a really cool community, and if you're interested, take a look at the links in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys in the next video. Peace.